Good morning, everybody. Happy Bosses and Breakfast Day. Happy Wednesday.
Hi, good morning.
No idea what day it was.
Let's see here. Let me get all my things set up. So did you bring coffee or food? Anybody? What did you bring this morning, everybody?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I need to switch this over. Sorry.
Okay, yeah, I wasn't switched either. Yeah, I was like, good morning, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday. I have no idea the day, but it's a day.
Today, like last night. So the kids have asynchronous learning, which means they learn by themselves on Wednesday. So my husband's here today though, and I was like waking them up this morning and I didn't realize it was Wednesday. I don't know. So then I like got into like some giggle fits. Do you ever do something like, and you just like cannot stop laughing at yourself?
I actually, James and I did something the other day that was so funny that yesterday I was walking and just started laughing when I thought about it.
Yeah, right. So then I start cracking up because I was like, kids, wake up. And then, it was one of these, maybe you didn't even have to be there, but you just had to be, in my head this morning.
All right. Would we like to get onto Instagram on time this morning?
Oh, yes, we would. I love you. I'm proud of myself. Yes.
Before you, because your conversations are really interesting, and I think Instagram might want to hear it.
Interesting. That's why I'm like trying to avoid Instagram.
I'm going live because I was prepped this morning.
And it seems like this is like Facebook conversation almost. But yeah, I was gonna say,
Instagram.
Oh geez, here she goes.
I'm going. It's Bosses and Breakfast Day. Mina's telling us some really interesting stories on Facebook. So I was like, we need to get on Instagram and do this thing. So it's Bosses and Breakfast. It's Wednesday. Say good morning. Now that you're here, let us know what you're drinking: coffee, tea, water, vodka, whatever time of day it is for you. You could be in the UK and it could be tea time. You could be in Australia and it could be dinner time. You let us know what you're doing. I've got a cup of coffee with coconut almond milk inside.
Oh, nice. I have just plain coffee, but I have, get this, you guys, not that I'm a genius, but I feel like I am, Nutella and peanut butter on toast sandwich.
Mina's joining. Hey, compliments and coffee and Lacey. Okay, so what did you say you're eating on toast?
I am eating Nutella and peanut butter on toast.
It is kind of genius.
Yeah, right? Which brings me to another conversation because Jacqueline is the only person that I know that does this. So I would love to hear if anybody else does.
Are we going to talk about bananas?
Yes. So she makes like sandwiches for her kids out of like banana and bread. So she'll be like, do you want a banana sandwich? And I'll be on the phone with her. I'm like, what is that? Because our kids eat it. And she's like, it's just bread with banana in it. I was
Maybe
like,
a little butter.
Do you put peanut butter on it? Like something? She's like, nope, banana and bread. So I was like,
banana sandwiches are delicious. And if it's like a good bread.
I guess sometimes I eat like toast with butter and sugar, but I just found that to be so funny.
My mom, I was telling her, like my mom, what she would do is like, she'd go to the grocery store, she'd do shopping, she'd buy a bundle of bananas and maybe a French bread. And then I'd find her in the car. She'd like rip off part of the French bread, break it open with her hands, stick a banana in it. And it is the easiest sandwich you've ever had.
That's crazy.
Nadia does banana sandwiches.
Yeah. Nadia said it's a thing. That's so cool.
Do you do it with anything in it or just bananas? Listen, we all have weird things. You guys can tell us a weird thing. Not that it's weird, but Mina gives her kids fish sticks for breakfast because they eat dinner. Like it's like like they eat savory in the morning, which is just different.
Right. Just because I've always been used to eating like sticky rice in the morning. So to me, it felt like very natural. Rice with, sticky rice with banana for me wouldn't be as weird as like a banana with bread. It's the exact same thing, right?
I mean, Nadia does just bananas too. And a Facebook user said basically it's just banana bread. You're right.
No.
Minus the sugar and the chocolate chips and all the other gooey goodness. Solitude Living is eating mangoes right now.
A banana and a hot dog bun. Now we're getting crazy.
A banana and a hot dog. If it's a brioche hot dog bun.
Instagram said, yeah.
Let me tell you, brioche with like butter in it and then a banana, sounds like delicious to me. My son will ask for that. He doesn't want peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. He'll have a banana sandwich at school. So
my daughter doesn't like peanut butter, my oldest one. So
my husband and my daughter are like, they pretty much like the peanut butter, almond butter, chocolate. Yes, they go together. And I'm not a chocolate peanut butter person.
Amanda Lee said that she would eat ketchup and bread, or ketchup and mustard sandwiches. I used to have ketchup on popcorn.
Okay,
Because
yeah.
it's like,
So that's super weird. And it
yeah.
makes your popcorn soggy,
Well,
doesn't it?
for some reason, I always thought that popcorn tasted like French fries. Is that not right?
Are you confused? Are you thinking about French fries? But in fact, or what do you?
Yeah, I was thinking, yeah, it's just like French fries and ketchup. Then I was like, wait a second, no, it's popcorn.
Okay,
Made out of potatoes.
Some people are sharing with us like their funny weird food. So let's see, we've got ketchup and mustard sandwiches. Amanda Lee, she said she's eat that right now. Dawn's eating lunch meat and root beer for breakfast.
Oh, Brenda said this sounds delicious. Oh my gosh, bread with brown sugar and butter.
Yeah, I've done that. Like sometimes, like if it's I really want something sweet, I'll toast it. It's basically cinnamon toast crunch, right? Actually,
yeah, that sounds good.
During the pandemic, I listened to a podcast episode of something that people did that was like it reminded them of home, and I was feeling really homesick because I was in New Jersey, and so I made that. Not that was home, but I don't know. It just felt like it was warm and loving.
Like you were a kid, maybe. You know, like a cinnamon roll, probably. You know,
yeah, we didn't have cinnamon rolls. I mean, my mom's English, and she doesn't fully believe in. Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh, the first time I had one of those. Oh, do you know what they're called? Toaster strudel. You know. Like that was
our family called them Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, no.
You're like fancy.
It's no, there is Pop-Tarts, but the first time as an adult that I had toaster strudel, it's like it has like jelly in the inside, and it was like a huge thing when we were growing up, but we never got it. No, it's not a Pop-Tart. It has like it's not a Pop-Tart. And you put like, tell me you guys know what I'm talking about. You put like the icing on the top. It's amazing.
Yeah. Which is a Pop-Tart, but Pop-Tart's is the cheap version of it.
Yeah. But completely different. Yeah.
And I apologize because Rachel is currently fasting.
When some of these don't sound good, at least.
So she's like,
somebody said, or Dawn, hey Dawn. Dawn said, when I was pregnant, I craved Slim Jims dipped in peanut butter.
Oh my God.
I mean, it's not, it would be savory and creamy.
Yeah,
I guess it would be not bad, you know.
When I was pregnant, I had a sandwich addiction. Like I needed sandwiches. And Cholula. I had never eaten hot sauce. Like I was not a hot sauce person, but I had at my desk in my office, I had 3 hot sauces, like 3 different types of Cholula on my desk, and then sandwiches. Like there was one morning I was an hour and a half late to my office because I was pregnant, and James was like in New York, I think, working, and I went to 3 different sandwich shops because I needed every single sandwich to eat before I got to my office in downtown LA. And so they were like, "Where were you?" I was like, "Eating
Cholula
sandwiches."
Sounds amazing. Cholula and sandwiches, right? It makes all the difference.
Yeah. So that was fun. I'm starving. I actually have only drank 2 sips of coffee so far this morning. So good for me. My mom's like, again, she just asked me, she's like, "Do you want me to make you breakfast?" She's actually making English breakfast this morning. And I was like, "No, I'm about to go and think." She's like, "But it's called Bosses and Breakfast."
Yeah. I mean, I have this sandwich. I won't eat it in front of you guys, but I feel proud of myself that I brought something, you know.
It's like, I'm going to eat baked beans and runny eggs like while on this thing. It's like sushi on a first date.
So good.
I know.
Yeah, I just yesterday I ate kimchi and hard-boiled eggs. Kimchi is so like strong flavored. I needed something to kind of like tamp it down. And so I've been trying kind of like that. I've been trying to do more fermented food. This is another page out of Jacqueline's book. She eats a lot of sauerkraut, or she used to, until the histamine thing. And
they don't know about the histamine thing, but sauerkraut has a lot of histamines, and I ended up kicking up my like histamines in my body. So everything in moderation, friends.
Yeah, everything in moderation. So, yes. So, aside from food, what are we going to be talking about today?
Well,
Jack?
really fast.
Actually, we need to do announcements.
But Suzanne, who is 3 Best Bakery, she's in our mastermind. She's the resident baker of the community right now. She said toaster strudels have more of a flaky puffed pastry. Pop-Tarts have more of a thin pie pastry.
Yeah,
and the conversation is settled. Mic drop. Thank you, Suzanne.
Yeah. Thank you.
Send some in the mail, please.
Right. Jacqueline saying they're the same thing as like saying, that's just craziness. Like a truffle and a mushroom. A truffle and a mushroom are the same thing. No.
I'm
No,
like
no.
kicked out of the fanciest restaurant ever. Are they just mushrooms? Why is it $40?
Right?
Okay. Oh, Mina, I miss eating truffles with you.
Oh, I know. That was like a reward dinner. We still to be seen. At least we're at the tail end. We see the light, you know?
We went, we were together in New York last year. No, 2 years ago, because God knows what year. We skipped over 2020. We were in New York and we decided that we were going to treat ourselves as after, like, it was pretty much towards the end of the year. We were like, okay, this is how we're going to treat ourselves. And we went to a fancy restaurant in New York, and then they asked us, it was a Nomad hotel, and they asked us if we wanted truffles. And we looked at each other and we're like, yeah,
Definitely.
we'll take the truffles.
Definitely.
It's like slice, $100, please.
I know, but they were delicious, you know.
Like, we're like, how much for 4 slices? $200.
Yeah, they
like,
really
we'll take
did.
2.
They count the shavings, you know.
Yeah.
So
So that was fun. All right. Ooh, this is a fun one. Okay, so we do a podcast review winner every week. So first and foremost, thank you for all of you that have done it and left a review. So what you do is wherever you listen to podcasts, but Apple Podcasts is preferable, and you could do it on all of your devices. Just super side note for extra entries. Go to our podcast, leave a 5-star review with a positive review, screen grab that. You can share it in our community with the hashtag podcast review. And once a week, our team will pick out a podcast review winner. So this week is Adriana. So congratulations,
Yay!
Adriana from South Mountain Bees. And she said, I recently found out about the Product Boss podcast, and I'm so glad I did. The episodes I listened to so far have been incredibly useful. They describe the journey of real women going through many of the problems I face myself, or eventually will be presented with in an accessible way. And Jacqueline and Mina must be reading my mind because they asked the questions I wanted to ask. So thank you, Adriana, for leaving that. Congratulations. Mina's going to send you a gift in the mail.
Yes.
And Adriana has been with us for a long time. So what you can do is if you have left a review in the past, you can still screen grab that review, go back and find it, and drop it into the community.
Yeah.
So we're really excited.
Or just do a new one.
Or just if you could do a new one, do a new one. So thank you again for those reviews. They really help us get in front of more people and end up in the top charts. So we're really excited. All right, Mina. So what other homework do we need to tell them? Next week, registration starts for the Bestseller Secrets Challenge.
So excited.
Yeah. Oh, Facebook user. So the hashtag is podcast review. That's the hashtag. So Bestseller Secrets Challenge. Who knows what it is? Yes, no, if you don't know what that is.
Have you done it? Do you love our challenges? Because we love our challenges. They're so much fun.
They're free. They're 5 days. So, and this is kind of leading into what we're going to talk about today, but it's the Bestseller Secrets Challenge is 5 days of trainings dropped directly to your inbox with a Facebook community that's really fun and really engaged. And we're going to help you figure out what your bestsellers are. So your best-selling products, what are your best-selling months, and how to create promotions around your bestsellers. So who has taken it before, done it, and seen a result? And if you've seen a result, share that with us in the comments so we can share it with everybody else.
Right. We thousands of people go through at once on our challenges, and we all have, it's like a big fun party. If you love to build your business, have fun, and be inspired, then it's perfect for you, which is like everybody, right?
Yeah. And people are saying they've done it. They did it this year. They're doing it again. They did it last year. Hallie says she has to do it again. So yeah, you're welcome and invited. You're always invited to our challenges. You could do them every single time we do them back to back. You always learn something new.
You should. Yeah, you should. Your business always changes. Your perspective always changes. You know, the people in there always change.
Yeah, the people, there's new things, there's new questions asked, there's new things that you maybe have discovered in your business, right? So something new. Maybe there's a new bestseller, right? The year is different. The seasons are different. Oops. Oh my God. I was trying to do not disturb on Instagram and lost it. Okay, am I back? Okay, I think I'm back.
Yeah, I'm back.
Okay. And Speech Treat Co. said, after taking the challenge, I removed a lot of weed products from my store and got my time back. Amazing. And then Bobbles Baubles and Weave said, I just discovered the Product Boss and have purchased a few courses. I love you too. Informative and fun to watch. Yay. So come to it if you've just discovered it. But it's going to be really great. So we're going to start the registration a little bit earlier than we normally do. You guys,
Read this one. Look at
which
this one. Battle Creek Hardware. She said, yes, she participated last time, was able to quit her day job as a result.
Well,
triple
that's
hearts
fancy.
after that. That's amazing.
I'm going to screen grab my
Congratulations,
screen.
Battle
Looks like
Creek
I can do it.
Hardware.
Face isn't so good, but
Oh no. It paused it. Okay.
I mean, that's huge. A free 5-day
Mhm.
challenge, and then you were able to quit your day job. I mean,
Yeah, that's
imagine
awesome.
being in our courses, right? Like,
Mhm.
whoo,
Yeah, just as much fun for sure.
Yeah, Suzanne said it led me to totally paring down on my website, got rid of so many SKUs. That's amazing, Suzanne. So we're really excited for you all to participate in it again. If you want to invite, if you're in other communities, when you start to see us post about it and you're in other communities, please share that. Share that with other people that you know, other product bosses that you think would be that would benefit from it as well, right? We're all in this together. So we'd love for you to do that. Okay. Let's see. What should we do now? Talk about things.
Okay. Yeah. So we have a couple things that we've been kind of noodling. Is that the word? Noodling around. And so one of the things is talking about slow months and busy months. And we can keep that pretty brief because you are going to learn all about that in the challenge. But I think that it's helpful because we all go through cycles, right? And so that'll be really great. And then we're going to talk about some recent activity behind the scenes that Jacqueline and I have experienced. We're going to talk about brand experience and what
Customer
we've
service
experienced.
issues.
Yeah, customer service issues, what we've experienced lately, all those things. Okay. So us as a consumer in the real world, which is a whole different story, right?
Right.
Okay.
So let's dive into talking about your slow months and your busy months and what that means in your business. So whoever hits a slow month and then freaks out, like, oh my gosh, this is all ending. Whatever I did before is no longer working. They're never coming back. Anyone ever feel that way?
I
Yes,
mean,
no,
everybody, I feel like,
right?
you get a little bit addicted to the sales coming in. It feels really good. And then you kind of have a hangover when it goes into slow months, right? Because you're so like, let's just take, for example, the holidays. Like if the holidays were really busy for you, you probably felt very hungover in January if they slowed down. Or if January is really busy for you, you probably felt hungover for February. And then you start to have all these self-doubt beliefs coming in, like, oh my gosh, what's happening? Like what Jacqueline said, it's all going to end. What am I doing? What am I supposed to be doing now that I'm, what did I do wrong? All these
It's
different things.
broken. It'll never work again. That happens, right? And Mina, we've talked about this a lot, but with my other business, it used to be that in December things would slow down and I wouldn't have a lot of inquiries for new clients. And then she would always tell me, I mean, always for the few years that we were friends, she would be like, remember last December when you freaked out and it was fine? It's like, oh yeah. And I was like, I have to mark this in my calendar. So we want you all to realize that, yes, especially Q1, when we're coming off of Q4, basically for product bosses, Q3, Q4 can do 50% of your entire year's business, right? Actually, I'm going to go back. Q4 can do 50% of your entire year's business, not both, because then that would be evenly distributed and that wouldn't make any sense. But Q4 can be 50% of your business. So knowing that, right, a ton of sales come in, you're like, wow, this is amazing. It's working. People love it. People love my product. This is working. And then you hit Q1 and you're like, what happened? Well, it's spending habits. Consumers change, weather changes, things are happening. And that's why we've got all those holidays, right? That's why Valentine's Day pops up. That's why then we have Mother's Day. There's things like that are going to generate sales. So what do we want them to do when they're thinking about their slow months and their busy months?
Well, I want them to kind of figure out what the cycle of their business is. So if it's a slow month, that they can kind of understand that it is a slow month for them. But the thing, and then what should they do during slow months versus busy months? So when you have let's just again go with the scenario if you have busy months at the end of the year. Well, what should you be doing now that it's beginning of the year and you're in your quote unquote slow months? Well, during that time, you should actually we tell you to stabilize. But what does that mean, stabilizing, right? So what it really means is that you're working on your business. And what we mean by that is like you're thinking about the strategy, you're fixing things that need to be fixed, you're removing obstacles that might have been there before, you're creating processes that need to be established, and you're thinking about it all strategically. This is why in our mastermind, we talk about strategic goals. What are you doing during this time? And it makes a difference if you're in your busy season or if you're in your slow season. So then when you get into your busy season, you can make a whole bunch of money, make more money than than you would have before. And you don't have to make any sort of decisions. So when you're busy and let's say you're picking, packing, making, your head feels like, it's cut off, you're running around with your head cut off or whatever that saying is. Well, lots of times you hit decision fatigue, you hit a wall. And so when you're trying to do strategic things or build processes, you better bet that you're going to burn yourself out, because you're like, oh, I didn't do this ahead. I didn't hire the right person ahead of time. I didn't figure out the process of onboarding them ahead of time. I didn't figure out my shipping station ahead of time. I didn't figure out my promotions ahead of time. And then you spin out in the other way of that, not because it's slow, because it's too busy. You're having to make too many decisions and you burn yourself out. And so we're trying to balance that, right? With slow months and busy months.
Does that make sense to all of you?
Yeah.
And that's and that awareness around it. And we've got a couple masterminders right now that are saying it. So be happy. Brooke's Q2 is slow with sales, but I'm so busy working on my business. And she's working with us. She's a multi-stream machine student. She's now in the masterminds with us. And she's working with us because one is for selling wool hats. What do you think the busy season is? Q3 and Q4. So what does she have to do right now in her business to stabilize, to gear up for it? Maybe there's a to-do list of things that she never got to. Or maybe it's like Jacinta at Blessing and Light, who is also a masterminder and I think is in Multi-Stream Machine. She said, I finally realized in August and February that I need to take a vacation and not start new ideas. So some of you actually have months that feel so slow that that's actually maybe even a recharge month. Right? It's a time that
you feel guilty almost, right? That's probably what it should have happened in January. If you were slow, is that you should have filled your cup back up.
Yes. And so we have to look at this. Like when we look at the seasons or if we look at animals, squirrels will start to put, nuts away for the winter and they prep for it. It's the same idea for all of you. Our seasons are different. Each of us as product-based business owners have different seasons depending on what we sell and who our customers are. But what can you do? Like, how can you be that squirrel that preps for the time that you need to be prepped for? Right. Yeah. And so that would be gearing up. So what is the things that you can do working on your business? Because on means maybe you're like, I need to do new photographs, or I need a production calendar. I need a launch schedule, or
I need to optimize my website.
I need to count my inventory, right? Things like that. That's the stuff where you're like, I don't have time in my busy times. It's just, you're just flying by the seat of your pants, right? You're just like everywhere doing all the things. So when it's slower, think about those things. I mean, Mina and I sometimes will go organize a spice drawer.
Yeah.
It's just little things, so it's like organize your desk. That's something you can do. So when you're really starting to feel it, and then you know what, you're going to be pleasantly surprised when you hear that cha-ching on your phone and you're like, oh, the sales have started again. Right. But I know that I've been working on my business and that I know that I'm going to make X amount of revenue in these other months. So what we really want you to do you have something to add to that?
Yeah. I was going to say, do not think that means that you ghost your customers. You literally are still moving on with your business, showing up on social media. You're not showing up as much, but it's during those times that you deliver cornerstone content. So content that's evergreen, that matters to them, matters to you as a brand, things that give value-based things like what your company is about. Remember, you're reinforcing during this time still. It does not mean that when you're slow, you leave and then you come back when you're busy.
Right. Right. And when we're talking about social media or even emails, like you need to keep the machine running. You need to keep the algorithm going. But you could totally do it with like setting things on automation. There's things like that. So when you all join not multi machine, please join that too. But when you join the Bestseller Secrets Challenge, we are going. That's one of the very first things we're going to work on with you. We're going to identify your slow months and your busy months. You're going to look at your revenue. You're going to figure out your months. We're going to do it together. So don't even worry about it right now. Come to the challenge. Let's do it together because, that time you're dedicating that time to you and your business. That's the time that you can work on this part of the project, right? That's the time that you can start to think about this, wrap your mind around it. And then it's going to give you a lot of clarity. You're going to look at your best-selling products. You're going to look at your best-selling months. And then it's going to give you this aha moment of, okay, all right, like, maybe January is slower for Suzanne because she says, because in January, everyone has a resolution to not eat sugar and to be healthy. So they're not buying cookies. So it's a slow month. So what could she do, to gear up for probably a very busy month would be Valentine's Day for bakeries and for, chocolatiers and things like that.
Yeah, agreed. So hopefully that was helpful. Do you think we should talk about moving into the second half of Bosses and Breakfast? Because it's kind of similar, right? So I want to segue in a way that makes sense too, because when you think about how to stabilize your business in the slow months, you also need to be thinking about the processes and policies that you have as a business. Policies and processes. And the reason why you have processes and policies, let's think about it on the customer side, is because there's no gray area in what customer service needs to be done, what team members have to be doing. No, like gray area in whether or not what happens when this happens, right? Jacqueline always says, what's that saying? Build systems around or build SOPs around situations, right? What situation happened and build a SOP around it. So
I'm not sure what I always say.
Yeah, clearly I'm not sure either. But basically situations happen. So during those slow seasons, you also are building in policies of how that can help you. And the best way to do that is for your customer service areas, right? So what I'm talking about is shipping policy, return policy or refund policy, turnaround policy, like how things can get turned around. Like if you're making something, what's the turnaround policy? So all these different things that you can actually put up onto your website, or you can pluck them right into your emails, like put them from your website into your emails so they know like in the meantime, here's our frequently asked questions about taking care of your product, and that will help with customer service issues here. And don't forget, here is our shipping policy. You should be getting it in blah, blah, blah time,
So what Mina's talking about, for one, when we're thinking about customer service, is that front-facing customer service. So what are the policies that a customer can go to and reference and say, when am I getting my product? When is it planning on being shipped? What happens with this, that, or the other? If I want to return it, what do I do? So that's the front-facing policy. Now, we've been working on this a lot within with our masterminders about also the back end, right? The internal policies. So what that means is a lot of you are doing it yourself, right? You get an email, someone who wants to return something, you're the one writing back. And then as you grow, like our masterminders, our multi-stream machine students that start to hire, and then they join us in the mastermind, they start to have team members. And then those team members are going to come to you every 5 minutes if there's a return and say, hey, should I do this? Hey, what do you think about that? This person said that the necklace chain broke. Do we refund it? Do we give it to them? Like, what do we do? So as you start to get these questions, as situations occur, start to document around the situations, right? Make a long running list of what a response would be to a customer if XYZ happened. Every time there's a situation, document around it, because there's the internal policies and then there's the external policies.
So when we were teaching this in our mastermind, I built a structure out that was like front of house, back of house. And so Jacqueline and we kind of go through everything. And she was like, I think customer service is operations. And I was like, I think it's front of house. So I Googled it actually, because this is a really a good question, right? Is customer service in operations, or is it in customer service, or in marketing and sales, the front of the house, right? And it said that it's actually neither. It's or both.
It's its
And
own.
it actually, it's its own, plus it is in accounting as well. It's an interlink one.
It is actually, you're
So,
right. It's all of these things.
yeah. So while it's front facing in that's your main connection, a lot of people put in sales, but some people put in operations because you have to build policies around it. But some people put in accounting because when refunds and things happen, accounting has to shift their production as well as their numbers, right? So we're talking big business here, right? So I thought that was really interesting. So, okay. What were you gonna?
I was just going to say, Sarah, someone on Instagram is asking about the masterminds, if you wouldn't mind jumping over there to help answer that question. So, okay. So what I wanted to say to all of you about this is, okay, bear with us and don't judge us.
Yes. Especially
Please.
the latter. Okay. Do not judge us. So,
and we're going to say this because we both of us are in different places in the country, and we both have very individual stories of consumer. We're the consumer, and we have both had very bad or poor experiences buying from a business recently. And we were like, we call each other. We're like, what do we do? Like, we know what we would coach people to do, and we're not coaching these shops, right? We can't coach people that we buy from. But there's things that have happened that we're like, this is bonkers crazy, and we feel crazy. So then we call each other. Okay. So we're going to share this with you because it's now happened. It happened for me, and we're like, okay, maybe we're not going to say anything. And then it's happened for Mina, and we're like, hey, we're going to have a conversation with all of you about customer service and the part of you operating your businesses from the customer service perspective, and also us being customers or consumers and having a pretty bad experience, each of us, in separate situations with different types of shops.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you my story first. And listen, we've both gotten, like, I don't normally get very upset, and I don't know why I was so upset, but I was pretty upset. So I'm going to just share the story. So
but first, before you do, also remember, no judgment zone. Secondly, there's no right answer in any of these. Okay. So,
and they're not in our community. They have no idea who we are.
Right. We're not going to name them.
No, but they're not it's not someone from the Product Boss community. Literally, these are just Jacqueline and Mina out in the wild shopping.
Yeah.
And then we're like, do you know who we are? No.
No, it was more
when I say that, it's like, we coach on this. Can we help you?
Yeah.
Please?
That's why it felt like I was like, oh, this is like such a confusion factor for our community. And here I am living this life, so it felt inauthentic. Like, we should definitely coach these people,
but we can't. So we're going to coach you instead. Because you're showing up.
Yeah, you get it. Okay.
All right. So my first situation is a very, very, very big Instagram account, like 5 million people follow, posted these really cute clothes for kids. And I was like, whoa, that store is going to get a lot of people wanting it because it's this huge account and people follow and buy whatever this account posts. And so me too. I was like, this is so cute. It's great for my daughter. So I went on to the website and I pretty much bought everything I could buy from this. I think they're a brick and mortar and an online shop. And I bought almost everything I could possibly buy in my daughter's size. I went through it. We spent this whole night together. We bought matching outfits. Very, very cute. And so I paid with PayPal through their Shopify site or whatever they're on. And that's it. I don't think I got an invoice. I just got like a PayPal thing. You paid this store. Well, a couple days later, I get a text message that's like, hey, I sent you an email. I didn't get an email. I got a text message like, hey, I need a photo of your ID and your credit card. This is this shop, right? And I'm like, you need a photo of my...
Which is like an alarm scam.
I'm like, who is texting me from... I don't even know this area code. Like, you're texting me? And I was like, who is this? And they told me who they were. And I was like, you need a photo of my ID and my credit card? Like, I'm just going to text someone my photo of this. And she's like, well, I can FaceTime you instead if you'd like. And I was like, okay, why? And so she's like, can I FaceTime you? So she FaceTimes me and I'm like, okay, I'm FaceTiming this woman who's in her house. I'm like, are you the owner? And she's like, no, I just work for the shop and this whatever. So she's like, yeah, it's policy, like you bought it and we need to see this photo. And I was like, okay. So I'm like running through the house trying to like show her my ID. And like, okay. And she's like, okay, thank you. All right. Well, I'll let my shipping department know. We just need to make sure that it all matches up. Yes, everyone. I randomly FaceTimed somebody and showed them my ID and my credit card. Just side note. But she knew the order I was doing, so I knew it was the shop. Okay.
And I would have, like Jacqueline, I said, I would have been like, who dis? New number, who dis?
Old.
Or I would have been like, you've reached a number that's been disconnected. And text that back.
And the reason why as a consumer is that my daughter was very excited about this. Like she was excited about matching clothes. It was a whole thing that
you
we
had
did
gone through the website and shown it to her.
The whole thing was an event we did together, right? So for me, it meant a lot to my daughter. And that's why I was like, all right, I'm going to jump through hoops. Other people, I'd be like, oh, cancel, right? Okay. So she's like, great, I'll let my shipping department know. All right, cool. Still no emails, nothing. Then 3 weeks later, I shipped it to LA, right? I shipped it to my mom's because I knew where I was going to be. And I was like, 3 weeks later, I still don't have it. And I have no email. And so I decide to text the woman back because she texted me. So I texted her.
At that point, I would have canceled all credit cards.
So I texted her and she didn't respond. And then I go and Google because I know they have a brick and mortar. And I Googled this store and I called and I am like, hey, so I placed this order 3 weeks ago. You guys did it. I want to check on my order. And she's like, oh, hi, it's me. You actually spoke to me. Oh, yeah. Sorry, I didn't respond to your text. Yeah, we haven't been able to ship your package. You haven't been able to ship my pack. It's like $500 worth of clothes, by the way. Okay. And why not? Because Shopify detected it as fraud. And so the owner doesn't want me to ship it out. Oh, okay. Great. Well, it's 3 weeks later. So were you going to just, because the fraud now is that you're holding my money and not
Shopify
shipping
has
me.
this alert that rates fraudulent things. And usually it's no big deal. It's just if that person's address didn't match or things like that, right?
Because guess what? I live in New Jersey and I shipped it because I could be some wealthy person with a house in multiple states and shipping it, or I could be sending Mina a gift. Doesn't matter,
But she also had already got on FaceTime with you to confirm it was non-fraudulent.
Human face. Yeah. Matching my ID and my credit card. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yes, it's because right. So disconnected. So she's like, can I ask you a question? I know this sounds weird, but why do you have two different addresses that are so drastically different? I said, what does it matter? Well, because I was like, let me tell you the true story. I've driven across the country during a pandemic, but otherwise I could be really rich and this could be my home and that could be my home. I was like, I could be sending a gift. Like my coaching side started going off being like, why are you asking me why my addresses are different? So I started getting like enraged a little because it was like I felt like it was crazy town. Why? Yeah. Because the process could have been so simple for her.
Why?
And why?
Gaslit. I learned that word the other day.
I know, and that's being used in a whole other bigger situation. And that's what she said. She goes, I'm so sorry. She's like, and I was like, this is what you should have done. You've held like $500 is a lot of money and you've held my money for 3 weeks and I'm traveling. And so when I have picked where I've chosen to ship this, it's on purpose, right? Because I'm leaving again. So like, she doesn't need to know my life story, but for 3 weeks of holding people's money. But I'm sitting here and I'm like, this is crazy. And I'm like, and then she's like, yeah, Shopify. I was like, I'm going to have Shopify on my podcast.
It's true though. Like if somebody she's basically insinuating that you're fraudulent,
and she said that the owner
FaceTimed you.
Yeah.
To make sure you weren't.
The owner, who by the way I was following on Instagram and saw the owner was at some tropical vacation, and this poor girl is like sitting in the shop and she's like, I'm so sorry, the owner said not to ship it. I was like, well, you need to let your owner know that if you're not going to ship a product, then you need to refund someone.
Yeah, or you don't hold their $500
because that's where the fraud is now.
Weeks.
Keeping somebody's money and not shipping them product. I was like, or call me and ask me for a different credit card, right? Do you have something else? Or the fact that you actually confirmed that I'm a real human. So I really was like, I was upset. I don't normally get upset with people. Like I'm at restaurants, I'm like, oh, it's okay if you brought me the wrong food. Oh, it's okay. I'm not like that. But this was a thing because it's like, this is wrong. I felt like it was very wrong to hold my money. That was like what I was pissed about, and that they didn't ship it. They didn't notify me or let me know that Plus
you have a 5-year-old girl asking you, where are those clothes?
Yeah.
And you're going to leave soon.
And I'm traveling. So it's just going to overcomplicate my life, So she's like, I'm really sorry. And I was like, okay, I just need to let you know, like, this is what I actually coach on. I was like, I coach on this. Like I help businesses. So why this is super frustrating to me is that I actually help people. So in this. And so I'm not going to help her in this, but I just want to let you know, like, you guys need a different policy, which goes to what Mina and I were talking about in the beginning. So I did message the owner on vacation, who basically, if we're going to use Mina's word, gaslighted me again. So sorry, showed up as this. We've had other fraudulent transactions. She took no responsibility for it. I wanted to cancel my order because just to say, like,
You lost me as a customer.
yeah, like, I feel really crappy about you, but I didn't, because my daughter was, Mommy, when are we getting those matching dresses?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, I still have to do it, right? I'm still waiting, by the way, on something back ordered. So I was like, just send me it, please. And I was like, and could you send it to me a little bit faster because I'm leaving? So she did. She overnighted to me. I mean, it's like, they better send you something.
I think if it would, they should have put extra things in there, because some of the, at that point, since they had it shipped out, there was items that are back ordered now, for example.
Yeah.
You know?
And that's why I said to her, I was like, do you even have the product? Because I know that, I was like, I'll bet you got a lot of orders from this post, from this, like, you know, very big Instagram account. She's like, we really did. It's amazing. I was like, you're probably going to want to work on this. So what I want to tell all of you, right, is that I was like, I'm so mad. And I actually want to buy more from them because it's so good, but I don't want to. It's like,
it's so mad. So mad.
Either that, or she's going to become my best friend, and we're going to, maybe she's watching right now, and she's going to be like my personal shopper, because she actually ended up texting me later, because she's like, I listened to the podcast. We really need to learn from you all. So she said that. But what I want to say from my perspective, and then we'll get into Mina's story, is that that's a situation, right? That's a situation that I'm sure all of you have been flagged on before. There's been fraudulent stuff. You guys, as a business internally with your team, need to work through things like this and say, what would we do if there's a fraudulent thing? Do we still ship it out? Do we flag it? Do we text someone and ask them to send us a picture of their credit card and their ID? Probably not. Right. But what can you do? I'm not going to coach on what you do, but what can you do?
Don't ship. Do not hold the money.
Do not hold their money.
You need to refund it, you know?
Yeah. Because I could have flagged PayPal, right?
Yeah.
I could have been like, didn't ship, right? And then PayPal could then put a thing on their account. I didn't go that far, because she ended up talking to me, but I'm telling you, it was a really bad situation. It left a really bad taste in my mouth. And I'm not sure, I really am conflicted about, I basically need to find another company that I can buy similar clothes from, because it's so good. So I want you all to think about that. And from the consumer, and she sent like a pair of glasses and a hat for Willa, and Willa loves them so much. They're like bedazzled. So she loves them extra special. I wish I could share the store. Let's just say JoJo Siwa in apparel. I'm not.
Don't get to, even bad press is good press at this point.
I'm not, but I'm just saying. So she loves it so much, and they sent it. And I was like, okay, that was nice. And she overnighted it to me. So when you think about this, right? And we go, is the customer always right? And we're going to tell you Mina's story too. Is the customer always right? No, we know they're not. We know you all are dealing with like all sorts of crazies. Yeah. And Mina and I could be your crazies, because like
you just wait. She had a business psychopath on her hands.
You?
Yeah, me clearly. So
let's tell Mina's story.
No right answer here. So for mine in February, I ordered, like, for my Apple Watch, because I was going to start walking 10,000 steps. I ordered these little accessories that go on my Apple Watch. And so I ordered, and it was $120, right? So in March, I was like, oh my gosh, I haven't gotten these yet. So I emailed her, and I had bought it on Etsy. I emailed her, and I was like, oh, I haven't gotten these yet. And she's like, oh, it looks like it's already been delivered. And I was like, well, I haven't received them.
How long was it?
It was 3 weeks.
So it took 3 weeks for you to you've notified her also after 3 weeks, and she said,
but I figured it was just delayed or whatever. Right. And so then I emailed her, and she's like, oh, let me dig into it. So she, this
is on Etsy.
Yeah, this is on Etsy. So she digs into it, and I did do like due diligence. I like to buy from Etsy that are small businesses. So I knew she was US based. She had a whole bunch of sales. Like, she has nearly 10,000 sales on there and things like that. So she's, an Etsy store. And so I bought from her, and then I emailed her, and she was like, let me dig into it. And I was like, okay, great. Because could you make if it says it was delivered, you could make a claim on it, like if you had insurance on it, or you can open a case. So she's like, okay. So she did. And then somehow it said it was delivered to my community thing. And she was like, oh, looks like it's been delivered. Could you put a note up on the community thing? And I was like, it's a it's a community box outside, literally outside. Like it's, like I think of it as like putting a flyer on a telephone pole at this point, like it's literally
Have
outside.
you seen my package?
Yeah. And I was like, but I did not receive it. And she's like, well, I can give you 50% off if you want to place a new order. And I was like, I don't want 50% off because then I would be spending another $60, which would make it $180 to get these little charm things that I wanted. And she was like, well, if that's not good enough for you, we did the best that we can. And I was like, how did you do the best that you could? And she was like, well, there's all these non, what does she call it? Non-hard costs. Non-hard costs, like I had my team look into this for you. They also grabbed all the stuff, put it into the package, and fulfilled it for you. And I was like, yeah, but I'm trying to compromise here. I think in any compromise, it has to be lose-lose. So I'm willing, if you can, to send me $60 worth of stuff. I lose $60, she loses $60, right? And it's like USPS is to blame, but they are not going to take any sort of accountability on this. And she was like, no, because I will give you the 50% off and we shouldn't have any accountability on this. And I was like, but you do. Because as a small business owner, I do get that you ship out via USPS. I agree that you should, because anything that's lightweight or small should be sent out USPS. It's like, but as a small business owner, you should also calculate how much you're saving and if that compares to the refunds on the damages or lost goods. And it's like simple Google search. And I gave her the link, who is accountable if a package is not delivered by USPS. And it says if it was USPS and it says non-delivered, it's USPS. If it's delivered, it's the seller. Nowhere in there does it have the customer. So I gave her the link, showed her that. Another thing, she didn't have insurance on this. And I was like, you should probably have insurance over $100 on any order. And she's like, well, I can't have that on Etsy. And I was like, you can though. It's through Shipsurance. And I gave her the link to that. And it's only 80 cents per $100. She did not know that there was a business psychopath that she was going to open up. So I'm literally coaching her at this
She's
point.
like, who is this person that's sending me all the links?
No, I was so aggravated because, and then I was like, by the way, those immeasurable, she called them immeasurable, non-hard costs are actually immeasurable. It's called overhead. You should really put that broken into your pricing. So anyways, gave her a lesson on that.
They're seeing another side of you and I this morning. Someone's like, I could see smoke coming out of Jackson's
don't
ears.
Judge me. Anyways, long story short, she literally will not send anything to me because, okay. Then after that, I was like, business to business owner, I really think that in this case, the immeasurable thing is the brand experience. And I really feel like what I bought in this instance is bad brand experience. And I actually didn't get anything. And she's like, and I said, I've worked with thousands of product businesses. I work with the top 2 people that are in the top 1% of Etsy. And I was like, I really think that you should take a second look at this. She emails me back and she's just like, well, I'm a brand strategist. I was like, what the heck? She's a brand experience person. And she's like, it looks like we're not going to come to a conclusion here. Good luck to you. I'm like,
welcome to your next Etsy review. Mina doesn't leave bad reviews.
Yeah, I don't leave bad reviews. So Jacqueline was like, you could leave a 1-star review or report her to Etsy, which is the same thing my husband said, but I just can't do it. Like, it's just not my way of putting things out there. I've schooled her. Honestly, I should invoice her $1,000 for the hour it took me to write that email. If I'm going to get down to the numbers.
And then we're going to get a really bad review on our podcast. So we're just going to. So you can see, you can listen to Mina's voice.
I spent $120, got nothing in return, gave coaching, and yet this person is still. So it just goes to show you, the customer is not always right. The brand is not always right. There's obviously a gray area in all of it. What I want you to do is take what you take from it, have good policies, treat people right, she lost. And to be honest, I would have filled it. I would have fulfilled that order, taken that cost into account and been like, oh, maybe next time I need to either, get FedEx or UPS for the larger orders or orders that are closer to me, just looking at non-emotion, looking at numbers alone. Or I would have just fulfilled the order and been like, I'm keeping her as a customer because clearly she placed a big order and potentially she will tell 12 other people about you know what? I just told 111
well
people.
over 100 people. Good
Yeah.
math. You like added
Right.
math real quick there.
Thank you. I know. I've been
That's
on
like
a
the
roll this
fastest you've
morning.
ever done math.
So I've been on a tirade, let me tell you. So anyways.
So if Mina had a good experience,
Mhm.
we show up. There's on average 100 people every time when we do
Yeah.
our
I would have
challenges.
dropped her name.
There's like 5,000 people. We're about to hit 1 million downloads on the podcast, right? We love you. We mention you. Okay.
Mhm.
Easy peasy. Not every like influencers, whatever it is, whether you have 500 people that follow you on Instagram, it's still people. Whether you have, I get compliments all the time on my yearly co bangles. Yeah, they're yearly co. You should check them out.
We say yearly co all the time.
I mean, you hear it, but
we're very loyal.
We're raving fans because we've had a good experience with them. Like the whole experience, right? So if you're going to sell something, for example, these tiny gold rings that were $120. So they're expensive, right?
Yeah, they go around the Apple Watch. So they're like rectangle or whatever you slide them on.
Oh, yeah. Like a slider thing.
Mm-hmm, right. So they were like gold and so it was $120. So I'm out $120 and my husband,
and she wanted her to pay $60 to get them extra.
And I was willing to get $60 worth of goods. So that's retail, which means probably she could have gotten away with like maybe $30 worth of actual total cost in this whole thing and been like A-okay. And I would have been like, okay, I totally understand. I in me always want to support small businesses, So I was just like, you know what? Clearly I'm not going to get through to this woman. This is just another loss. I coached somebody, spent over an hour emailing her, and it's just so much of my energy. Plus, I was in a really bad mood this morning when I was doing this. So I'm like,
oh, you did this morning?
Yeah. Well, this was the final part, the links and everything like that. And then because this has been a back and forth. So I sent her all the links.
Mina called me the other day. She's like, I need to talk to you about something. And I was like, oh, I got something bad with business. Like, I was like, what happened? And she's like, okay, I placed this order with an Etsy shop.
because she wrote back and she was like, I'm sorry she's like, we did our best. I'm sorry if it's not good enough for you. And I was like, felt horrible. I felt that was what I meant about gaslighting is they make you feel like you're a horrible person.
Like
when I had already said that I was willing to take $60 worth of goods and because it's like lose-lose, it sucks. It's a sucky situation, And I was just like, okay, you know what? Then it made me feel bad. And then I coached her again. It was not like in this rage tone. Obviously it lost its tone. But I was just like, okay, fine. Now it's over. And then I was in a really bad mood because I'm clanking on the keys this morning. She already answered back that, good luck to you. Obviously, you can't clear this up. And I was like, really? And then so Layla.
Should send her this link to this Instagram live. Scroll to 20 minutes and 30 seconds.
Yeah. So then Layla was like, she's been on this thing where she doesn't wipe. If you have little girls, you know what I mean.
We're talking about a 6-year-old.
Yeah, 6-year-old. She just turned 6. Little boys probably pee on the toilet. So I flip out this morning. And my husband was like, is there something wrong with you? Because you are really angry. And I was just like, steaming at this point. I was like, there clearly is something wrong with me. So, okay, he gets done. He gives me my room because I need the space. And then I go out into the living room because I felt
from
really
an
bad.
Etsy order. It's like throwing Mina.
Felt really bad. This is literally like half hour ago. I go into the living room and I was like, family, I have an announcement. I wanted to say, Daddy's been right. I've been getting really grumpy lately. And it has nothing to do with you guys. It's not even that I'm stressed. I don't know what's wrong with me. I've just been really, my temper is really easy right now. It's really easy to make me angry. And it's like, so I'm sorry, your dad is right, that I will work on that. And so I was like, okay. Then Layla looks at me and she's like, I'm hungry. And I was like, okay, just walk away, Mina. It's just too much.
I just wanted these gold straps for my
Just give me my order.
and my whole house is gonna like reap the like you're mad at everybody.
Yeah. So anyways, that went down this morning and here we are. Again, no judgment zone, you guys.
Everyone loves sassy, angry Mina. So the short of the long of the situation is within a matter of like basically 1 week was me, 1 week was Mina, back to back. We've never had a situation like this before. And we've both had these situations, me from a brick and mortar that has a website, Mina from an Etsy shop. So what does this mean for all of you? Right? We're here telling you about it. We're not calling anyone out, none of that. But what we want you to know is that your customers may also have very similar experiences with you. And the idea here for you all is that from a customer service perspective, yes, we agree. You should protect yourself, right? But your customer is really not responsible for anything. It's your job as the business owner to get them the product that they've ordered. And if you do have to refund them, if packages go missing, right, then you as the business owner need to have your what do I do next? Contact USPS. Okay, that's a policy, right? Contact the shipping company. Prior to that, exactly what Mina said, take out insurance. If you have something that you're not willing to replace if it gets lost, then take insurance because you really should replace it or refund them.
And so Dawn asks, is it marked? If it's marked delivered, does it cover it? Well, it gets you to a certain point, right? So maybe it doesn't cover it. But again, you're still looking at costs. So while you ship with USPS and it marks it delivered, well, what happens then? You're still a business. You still have to, there's returns that businesses get. There's like I don't know, call it a budget of making customers happy. And then you decide, do I need to change certain things? So for example, like maybe FedEx has less issues and you could get better rates with them for things that are closer to you. You find the right broker for FedEx, and that's what you do in certain situations to balance out the cost. But there's definitely, policies are one thing, but even there's things that are really out of your control. And then it's up to you to decide as the boss of your business what you're going to do. And so for one example would be if something doesn't get to a customer in time, what do you do? Well, you had no control over shipping and the time, but did you let them know that this is the turnaround? Did they agree to that? And then now what can you do? Was it a big order? Did they, so again, as the boss of your business, you have to make these kind of bigger decisions, especially if it's a bigger order and if you're willing to let that customer go. So I'll suffice it to say it's more than just policies. It's the brand experience, but you as a business owner will have to make these decisions. When you set policies into place, it makes the decision a bit easier because there's no decision fatigue. But sometimes there is fatigue because you have to deal with a crazy business psychopath on the other end, I don't know if she was like, or not, right?
Or somebody who spent time with her daughter made an experience and her daughter's really expecting something and you don't know why that person is so attached to that order, right?
Yeah,
it could be that they sent something for Mother's Day. They weren't able to be with their mom for the first time ever, and it didn't get there on time. So if it doesn't get there on time, what do? You don't make the customer feel like it's their fault. I am so sorry that happened. I have no control over UPS or USPS, and when things start, it's been crazy for all of us.
That's not good enough for you. That literally was just like, what are you talking about?
I have these notes. Let me just look.
I wanted to be like, I am the most giving person you've ever met.
I'm not even gonna give you a bad review for this. Okay, I'm gonna quickly tell you how I helped my mom. Okay, I'm sitting in her workroom. These are her baskets. Right here. Yes. They're Moroccan baskets she hand paints. Okay. So she, a couple of weeks ago, got a message from someone on Etsy and the person was like, hey, I received the basket. It's beautiful, but I see some irregularities on the handles, right? Because they're all made in Morocco. So they're literally handmade by artisans. I see some irregularities on the handles and blah, blah, blah. Right. My mom's like, what do I say to this person? So this is the email that I wrote back. Okay. So it's called a compliment sandwich. If you compliment people front and end, and then you put whatever the meat is inside, that's in the middle.
No. It's called a banana sandwich. It's called the bread is the compliments. The banana is what you can do for them, I'm
Well, you've
guessing.
just, if people are just tuning in, I eat banana sandwiches.
Yes.
All right. I just want to make sure. Okay. So this is the email we sent her. Name. I hope you love your basket. Your color choice is beautiful. Each basket is unique and handcrafted by artisans in Morocco. Each element is handmade and has natural variations due to the natural materials used and how they are made. Your basket is truly unique and no basket is ever the same. I want to send you a huge thank you. Your support of my small business, as well as the impact your purchase has on artisans that are able to use their skills to craft these beautiful baskets, truly means a lot. Your purchase and support of my small shop helps my family thrive. Thank you for supporting the small shop and the others here on Etsy. As you know, Etsy shops grow from referrals and positive reviews. If you love your basket and want to help a small business with a review, I would be so grateful. Thanks again for your support. And I put my mom's name. Immediately after sending that, my mom's like, oh my God, I just got a 5-star review or whatever on Etsy. She's like, I don't ever get reviews. Because P.S., my mom doesn't listen to the podcast necessarily and doesn't ask for them. But that's a side note. But she got like this positive. She's like, what did you do? And I was like, well, one, I complimented her. I said, because it could have been a problem person, right? Like I've ordered things on Etsy that are handmade that like actually look damaged, right? And I actually, this happened a few years ago too. Something came and it was like damaged and whatever. And like, this is the way it is. Again, they kind of were like, it's your fault. You take it or leave it. If you want to ship it back, you can pay to ship it back. And I was like, it's going to cost more to ship it back than to keep this thing. So thanks a lot. So I will never order from them again either. But vice versa, this message that I wrote for my mom, she got a positive review. She explained why there's variations to it, right? It is somewhat of a spin, like not saying it's damaged. It's absolutely, she would never send anything damaged, but it's a spin on the variations to the basket. Each one is irregular, each one's shipped. And it was saying
each one is unique though, you know?
Yeah. And it was complimenting her, letting her know that actually it's truly special that it looks like this. And thank you, because actually what you've done by buying this basket and spending your money with me is actually really impacting and helping more people. How could she even get mad at you? She left a review and said the basket was beautiful and she loved it and she loved the customer service. Do you see how we got out of that situation there? It wasn't like a, well, sorry, but that's the way the baskets are. We didn't respond with that. We weren't like, well, everything looks different. Read the policies, keep it or don't, like it wasn't this like, we weren't in a battle. We were in a dance. And so I want you all to think about that as you're thinking about it. Like you can easily, Mina, it could have been like, oh, wow, Mina, I am so sorry that package never got delivered. That's probably all Mina wanted to hear. Let me look into it for you.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I want to read you exact words. Hi, Mina. We agree that you're not likely to see the package. Bummer that you didn't get in touch sooner, since we may have had a better chance with the investigation.
I'm just going to drink my coffee over here.
So yeah, that is a bummer. I didn't contact you sooner. I
was actually giving you because we know about UPS, or USPS, we were giving you the time to get this package to me.
Yeah. Anyways, I'm still doing my walks without my Apple Watch having those accessories, believe it or not.
So the short of the long here is have me write your emails on Etsy. No. The short of the long is like, we want you to protect yourselves and your businesses. We get it. We get that there are some people out there that are actually crazy, that are just crazy, right? I've been wearing my necklace for a year and a half and it's broken and your stuff sucks. Send me a new one. Okay. Yeah, no, that makes sense. A year and a half, like that's wear and tear.
Right.
Have that in your policy.
Even a couple months, I think, you still have to decide if, it wasn't made for a child to be able to pull on it, you know?
Or, wow, I'm so glad you love your necklace and you've worn it for the last year and a half. That is amazing. Sucks that it broke. That is something that happens. It's costume jewelry or whatever. But you know what? I'd love for you to buy another one. Here's a coupon for 10% off.
Or you have a repair fee, off.
Yeah. Send it in. I'll repair it for you. And the repair fee is $45 plus shipping. Then they'll get to decide, do I want to pay for this and get it repaired? Or do I just want to buy a new one with your coupon?
And that's if the expectation is there, right? So if it is costume jewelry, that's one thing. If it's fine jewelry, it's another, right? So there's expectations that happen in any sort of purchase. And if your brand has set a certain expectation of value or perception. So for example, if a necklace tarnishes and you are a upscale brands, even then, if it was fine jewelry, for example, then you should probably replace it, you know?
Yeah, yes. I mean, Henry Bendel's,
Mhm.
I used to love them. And I'd buy all this jewelry from them, and their jewelry did actually start to fall apart. Cut to, they're out of business now. But I would go in, and their response to me was like, "Well, it's a brick and mortar, it's a big store." They were like, "Well, it's costume jewelry that happens." That was super frustrating because this was not costume jewelry; it was expensive stuff. You know, it was like 100, 200, $300 jewelry. So I was like, "Well, that sucks," but that's because that was a lot of money to me. Right? Each customer has a different perception of money, and other people might have been like, I will take all of the baubles for $300 each. So,
Mhm.
but the thing is you just have to have policies in place and you can learn from them. I will tell you, do not put your customer on the defense. It is your customer was
Mhm.
actually there to support you and to buy from you. They want to buy from you. They actually are
Yeah.
contacting you because they want what you sell. They love your stuff. And what's going to reinforce their buying decision is that you're going to treat them nicely. You're going to treat them kindly.
Mhm.
You're going to work it out with them. And sometimes it sucks and you will lose money. You will. It's business. It's a cost of doing business.
Yeah.
And so,
Right. Right. It's like, when there is a cost of doing business, it's like how people will charge people the 2% that they charge on credit cards. And then for them to be like, yeah, well, you wanted to pay with credit card.
yeah.
For me, I feel like that is a cost of doing business. You have to take into account that you lose the 2%. So like I said, it's gray in a lot of these things, but you do have to make those decisions as the boss of your business. And yeah, and number one takeaway is don't put your customers on the defense when it comes to responding to them from the get-go, because there probably could be like a better resolution to all of it.
Hmm. Yeah. And I'm going to actually put this, people are asking for that email I wrote. I'm going to put this, is Sarah still on? Yeah. I'm going to put this, Sarah, I'm going to have you post this email into oh, nope, didn't all go through. Don't send it. I'll figure out a way to get you guys like the variation of that email. But just think about the compliment sandwich. Take care of your customers because it's more than that one transaction. It's the ongoing transactions. You all know that, like, if you go to a hotel and you have a bad experience and they upgrade you to a room, you easily get over the bad experience
Mhm.
because, like, oh, I've been upgraded. And if they really try and put in that effort, so it will be the same with your product businesses. If it's a reoccurring person that's like stealing from you, fine. Like, don't
Yeah, do a simple Google search to make sure that is not a scam artist,
yeah,
you know?
or contact, phone call. Hey, hi. This is, the shop that you ordered from. This is flagged as this, confirm that they're a real person, right? They'll go to a real number and things like that. But nonetheless, I'm not going to get into the fraud part of it or like what do you do about transactions? You're going to have to work that out. We just want you to put policies in place front facing to protect yourself, right? We ship X days, we ship using
Mhm.
this. If you order by this day, we will get you it by this day. And then we want the back end for you to think, if something happens, how will I approach the situation? We've given you two situations today. One never got delivered, the other one never actually got shipped and they held my money. And what would you do in situations like that? Start to build those out, build SOPs around situations, and treat your customers with kindness and give them the benefit of the doubt and understand that sometimes you will lose money and it's the cost of you having
Mhm.
a business, but in the long term, they will buy from you again. They will most likely
Yeah,
buy from you again. All
right.
right. So, and the other side note is have insurance if you need
Have
it. If
insurance.
if you're not willing to replace it, if you're not willing to just like send them another one out in the mail and replace it, then get insurance so that you can be covered by a
Mhm.
certain amount, right? If it's that
Yeah.
expensive to you, then you might need that insurance.
Right, right. And I think another lesson here is that there's no right answers. There really isn't for us to be coaching you guys. And you can see that both these situations were drastically different. There's no blanket answer to it. Also, do not judge anybody because clearly we're crazy in our own way. I'm sure that those business owners are crazy in their own ways. So it's just we're all going to each have our own takeaways from this whole thing, but yeah, thank you for listening to today. It's been a morning.
So yeah. So I hope that was helpful. I'm so glad that you guys are hearing that and you're thinking through this and it's
Mhm.
situations, right? We build SOPs, which are standard operating
Right.
procedures around situations. You document situations. So start to just think about this, write it down, have some things. If you want more help on this, we've got Bestseller Secrets Challenge next week. Multi-stream machine doors will be opening in a couple of weeks. So that's really exciting. So if any of you have been waiting to jump into that course, we're really excited. It's the thing that really will up-level your businesses. And long-term, our masterminds are always there. So, and this is something when we work in our masterminds with our masterminders, we really get into the nitty-gritty. So if this was a situation for them, that would be something we would help them work through and figure out what kind of SOP, what kind of email do I need? So I'm so glad that you all showed up with us today, and we will see you over on the podcast, and we'll see you again
before
next
we
week.
get off really quick, I want to give this person the link. You know what? Somebody can benefit from this.
What? Link to what?
Somebody asked for the link to the insurance.
Okay. Are you giving them the link to their
No, they said, what's the link to the insurance that Mina mentioned? So on Etsy gives you the option to have ship insurance on it, which is 80 cents for every $100. And then, that's on there. So there's the link on the Facebook side. And you know what I did? I just hit copy and paste on that email. Copy and paste on the link of the email. So somebody might as well benefit from that.
Yes. All right, friends. Happy Wednesday. Enjoy your day. Keep going.
Yeah.
And
thanks, everybody.
See you all soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.